Hello.
Hello, good evening.
We're joining you from our secret laboratory.
Here in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
And we are not really scientists, but we're playing one on a Facebook Live video.
We were told we don't look scientific enough, so now we have lab coats.
And I have glasses.
And a real lab.
And the thing about the glasses, it makes it so I can see, so
yeah,
it's super fun.
Tamara can read now.
Okay.
That's great.
And this is, for those new to us, I'm Tamara Rubin with TamaraRubin.com and Let'sSafeMama.com. And this is Carissa.
My website is creativegreenliving.com.
And this is an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, which is a scientific instrument for testing for lead, cadmium, mercury, and all this other good stuff. So people who have been questioning whether or not the tests we've been doing are valid or real or repeatable, it's actually really science, even though I'm just a mom from Portland, Oregon, who happens to be trained and certified in using this scientific instrument. And so we rent it for a day, and we've rented it so we could test fidget spinners. We have, I think, about 40
We have 40 fidget spinners.
Say that 20
it's a
times
lot.
fast.
Oh my gosh.
We're not going to test them all now. We're going to test a handful of them now, and then we'll come back and we're going to test some more on Sunday. We might test a few more tonight. So we're going to start with spinners from, let's flip it first.
It's flipped. We're
all
good.
right.
This is our buffet of fidget spinners.
So first off, yeah, we have these fidget spinners were brought over by Daisy, and Charlie just gave an assessment of the things we think have lead and think don't have lead. And then these were sent to us by Emily Heller, and since this was like the first group we got, these are all super fancy, really pretty, cool. And I think these all have lead, actually. So we can start by testing these. And I'm gonna, we have our X-ray sign up there, so that people.
We're extra scientific now.
Yeah. X-ray, extra scientific. So I'm placing this. We're gonna do this in real time on screen. So that's why this video will probably take a little longer than you might otherwise expect. And but that way you have it in real time as scientific evidence. And so the other thing I wanted to say is that if something tests positive with an XRF, I'm not going to bother doing a swab test on it, because especially if it's 35,700 parts per million lead, yeah, there's no reason to do a swab test to reconfirm it. Maybe we can go back later about it and see. But so this one, and we'll post on the blog where these came from. But this is this I can't read it. So I think the edge is titanium, yeah. And so the lead is 33,700 parts per million. I'm making it there so you can maybe see it better. In the center on the brass, and one plus or minus 1,600.
And the limit for lead and items intended in children, depending on the part of the toy it's in, is either 90 or 100 parts per million. And this one is way above that in the thousands, and 33,000 plus.
And so the speculation also is that this is titanium, because it says tie lock or whatever. I can't read the list.
That's my guess.
And it is, in fact, titanium. So this instrument also reads that it's 901,000 parts per million titanium.
In the black fins.
In the black. So it's a titanium and leaded brass. So then we're going to...
In the center where you put your finger and touch it the most.
Yeah.
It has a crap ton of lead.
And so this is going to be, I think, similar. I think this is likely stainless steel and leaded brass. So now we officially have, we tested 11 fidget spinners before, and 2 of them were leaded. So now we've tested 12 fidget spinners, and 3 of them are leaded. That's 25%. We should have like a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a whiteboard. All right, now we've tested 13 fidget spinners, and 4 of them are leaded.
Yeah. This percentage isn't doing so high.
And so I'm going to make these short tests, because when you come in with an XRF at 10,300 parts per million lead,
it's clearly above 90.
Yeah, it's above 90, and it's going to be consistent regardless. And so then this is a little UFO one.
It's so cute.
And again, we'll put the links to which these are so you don't buy them in the blog, and you can avoid them. This one, because of the anodization and the rainbow colors, you can't really tell if it's
it might be the
brass or what. But it is kind of heavy in the center. So again,
Yep.
So this is now 14 spinners and 5 with lead.
Yeah.
Wait, we have 1, 2, 3 with lead. This is here now. And we had 2 with lead before, so that's 5 with lead and 14 spinners. And so this one is 16,000 parts per million lead in the center. And it's very pretty and very leaded. Is that noise of my son knocking to try and get in?
The monster's trying to get into our secret laboratory.
Yes, he's locked up in a cave. So this is, it's very heavy. It looks like the whole thing is leaded brass.
Right.
But it also has, it's almost got a golden finish as opposed to the raw leaded brass of the centers of some of the other ones. So I'm going to test this. Let's see. So we were at 5 out of, I'm losing track. See, this is where my Alzheimer's kicks in.
Out of 12?
No, so we had 11, 12, 13, 14. This, wait, we had 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 15.
We have it written down, so we'll go
Okay,
back.
we'll
and
go
double
back.
check. We'll put them in a blog post and
And
with really specific numbers that are clear. But this one also has lead.
at 21,400 parts per million lead. And I'm just going to test the center part that you touch as well. And so basically 100% of the spinners we've tested this evening all have high lead, way above the CPSC regulation for lead in children's toys.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's a lot of lead. And it's the thing that makes me the most mad as a mom is it's the part that you touch the most. It's not even
Yeah.
in the paint or inside the fins that you're maybe not handling, but the button in the center.
The button in the center of this one was 33,000
It was
parts per
even higher
million,
than the fin.
and the edges were 21,000. So yeah,
The most heavily
Super
leaded
lead.
part is the part you touch the most.
and so this is this really cool one that Chris and I both like, but it's,
It's so sparkly.
really heavy.
I would
and
bet it's like a chunk of lead that they painted.
yeah, it does seem like it has like a gold paint on it. It's kind of interesting. And so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 100% of the 4 we've tested tonight. I think we need to when we get we'll get the whiteboard next time for sure.
Yeah. We're going to write it down. So on TamaraRubin.com and CreativeGreenLiving.com, we'll have a write-up that has the exact amounts of lead and the links so you can avoid them.
And so this is a big, excuse my French, it's not really French if I just say F you, right? This is a bit,
Correct.
this is a big, that to all of the people who wrote articles and said, well, it was just a small sample.
These moms did at-home tests and they don't know what they're talking about. Because we all know birthing babies makes you not a scientist.
So this one is actually lower lead, and the reason I think it's lower lead is because I think it's coated with something that this golden paint is making it come up with a lower lead. So it's only 3,700 parts per million lead, and it's mostly copper. Oh no! Hopefully you guys can hear us over my 8-year-old banging trying to get in.
So Honey wants to know how
Hi, honey.
these manufacturers get away with making toys that are so full of lead when the regulation is 100 or less.
You know, I just think this all happens so fast that no one's looking. And so now that we have a sample in which so far 100% have tested positive for unsafe levels of lead, and it's interesting. So this one, the fins are not testing positive for lead; they're copper.
Interesting.
But the center part, the part you touch, was leaded.
Yeah.
So these are all fails.
And so many times above the legal limit. We're not even close. I mean, it's not even like they're a little bit over.
Yeah, so then this one is interesting because I've gotten a whole bunch of these that are all slightly different, where the circles are slightly different, the edge of the center is slightly different. So a bunch of different people are, Charlie, maybe I should let him in. I don't know. Let me see here. So a bunch of different people are, I'll hold this.
Okay.
I'll do
You got
double
it. You
duty,
wanna
yeah.
let him in?
So I'm testing this, and thank you, honey. Hi, Jessica. Oh my goodness. I've got Daisy's spinners. We're going to test those next. And so this spinner anticipated because my friend tested it for lead and with a swab, and it tested positive with the swab. It's also testing positive, of course, with the XRF. And that's coming in at 38,000. And the longer you run the test, the more accurate it is. So, and we're trying to run it at least 30 seconds. And so that end result was 37,600 parts per million lead. And so then we're going to just test these other ones that are from Daisy. And I'm going to hand the camera over. And so before that, I wanted to also test the rainbow iridescent part.
Oh, how'd this one do?
This one was 37,600.
Holy crap. In the center?
Yeah.
I asked him if he wanted to come in, and he didn't.
He just wants to bang on the wall, on the door.
Yeah, there's a butter knife that he's like mangling.
A silver one?
I don't know.
Oh, no. This is what happens when you have lead-poisoned children. So this is really interesting because I thought the exterior wings of this would have lead as well.
Yeah.
But they're turning out to be nickel and copper and zinc with no lead, which is nice.
Except for the part you touch is full of lead.
Except for the part that you touch is full of lead, exactly. And the part you touch on it is, again, it's 37,600 parts per million lead. Okay, so those are all of the ones sent in by Emily Heller. Thank you very much, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spinners, and all 6 of them tested positive for lead. So that's 100% of the spinners tested so far. And we've got now a few more to test. So this is from Daisy. She brought this by today. She said this one's her husband's.
Oh.
Charlie's bet was that this has lead because it's heavy, which is a good bet. The only ones that are heavy that I think don't have lead are ones that are solid stainless steel and don't have a brass center button. So we are testing this. Ooh, maybe Daisy got lucky. And so let's see. And so can we answer any questions? Does anybody have questions?
Just one from Honey about how they got away from it. Or how they got away with doing it.
So just to fill in people's information about the X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, it is a scientific instrument that is a non-radioactive source that costs anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. This model is an older model, and we rent it. And if you bought one of these used, it would be probably about $20,000. But they're hard to find because these are the consumer goods mode ones, and they are they're the ones used by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and it's just that they're not as available as some of the other ones that are used for testing paint and other metal alloys. Okay, so I just tested this, and I'm surprised, and because
Me
we're
too.
scientists, we're going to go with the scientific method and not just what our opinions are, and this is lead-free on the center nut. Very big surprise. It is nickel, 140,000, copper, 529,000, and zinc, 288,000. And I don't know how many of you play Monopoly, but when the little guys in Monopoly used to be made out of lead and they needed to make lead-free ones, they ended up making them out of zinc. So zinc is a good heavy metal replacement for lead, and it's non-toxic. It can be toxic if swallowed, but it's, you know, the center of pennies and all of that. And so the exterior of this is also testing negative for lead.
Hey, that's awesome. We should find out where Daisy got that.
Yes,
So
I'll
we
ask her.
We can tell people.
And
So Elizabeth asked us, we're going to do this one. Elizabeth asked what the limit for lead in children's toys is, and it varies depending on what part of the toy you're talking about, but it is either 90 parts per million lead or 100 parts per million lead. So absolutely no more than 100. And these are all testing positive for lead in the thousands or tens of thousands, except for the one that we just tested, which is the first one we've done today, that is tested negative for lead, which is wonderful. But all of these ones right here are not just contaminated with lead, but they're highly contaminated with lead. These are not things that you should be letting children play with.
And so their manufacturers might say, oh, well, these are the adult versions of the toy. I'm like, okay, it doesn't say that anywhere.
Well, and some of them, one of them had a label that said not for children under 3, but the regulation is for children under 14, is that correct?
Yeah. So, yeah, we can look at some of the boxes on this while I do this test. You know, it's S&P Gears Fidget Spinner. It doesn't, that's the, I think the front of the box. Like this one doesn't have anything about, wait, okay, let's see. It does have a warning on the back of this one. Use this product under adult supervision. Avoid using this product near eyes. Do not throw product. If there are any issues with the product, contact us right away. WeFidget.com. We will be contacting you. Made in China. And pretty much all of these are made in China. Although, so this one, I have 2 readings. And Charlie said it's super light and he didn't think it would be lead. And my son is so smart. So it's got trace lead 62 plus or minus 15. So that's below
90.
the 90, and 19 plus or minus 10, and that's probably because it didn't fill the scope of the instrument, and it's super light, and so it's likely, you know, it says 998 is the balance, so that's likely aluminum. Whoa! Okay, this is why we wanted to find somewhere else to do the filming. All right, so Charlie thought, because this one's kind of heavy, and also because it has like a metallic look to it,
Right.
that it might have lead. And we will test this one.
So in regards, we're getting more questions about how these are allowed to be on the market. It's not something where if somebody wants to sell a toy that they have to submit to the CPSC and say, oh, we tested this, it's negative, right? Like that's just the law and people are voluntarily complying unless they get caught. Is that how that works?
Yeah, well, like the big companies, they have quality control departments. Like even the big stores like Walmart and Target, I'll be my scientist. Yeah. I've got to put on the glasses. And those are our monsters. We have monsters in the cage back there, and that's what's making all the noise. Yeah, so the big box companies and, Toys R Us and any big, like Mattel, Fisher-Price, they have internal quality control to make sure these kinds of things don't happen with their products. So the little companies that are just springing up overnight, they have no idea. No one's watching.
Except us.
Except for us, yes. And we are wearing our white lab coats. We'd like to, again, today, because
Scientific.
we're being very scientific.
Look
so
at us.
We wanted to, except I guess if I can do my hair like a little crazy, I'll be
Yeah,
a
that's
mad
awesome.
scientist. Oh my goodness, the kids.
I hear Len, he's out there with us.
Okay, good. Are they throwing balls at the garage? Okay, so I tested this part, and this part, and both were negative.
Oh, good.
Now the question is, can I get enough of the kind of heavier part, the main part of it? Yeah. Hey, and did you guys see the video I posted the other day of the guy who made a fidget spinner out of solid lead?
Oh my gosh.
Tell me about that. What do you think of that? That was crazy. If you haven't seen the video, it's earlier on the page. You have to watch it and watch it to the end.
It's
nuts.
It just made me twitchy, right? Like this guy is like, he not only is he like melting and pouring lead that he's handing with his bare hands, but then he's gonna like sanding it and scraping it and
filing
oh
it,
my
yeah.
word. So one of the bad news things for that guy is that lead poisoning causes erectile dysfunction.
Well, I just looked at his hands and he looked so young. I'm like, oh my God, might be a younger person, and so that was a concern for me. Someone said, "Did we try and contact him?" I'm like, I don't know how we would.
I don't know if he would care if we contacted
Yeah.
him.
All right. So here's what I said, and I've said this. This is now I've tested several of the light up ones, and this light up one is testing positive for lead at 3,090, and again, that's over 90. 3,090 is 3,000 over 90. And the other concern, which I talked about in another video, is that even though these are considered self-contained, these little units pop out really easily.
And they look like candy, right? So like it would be tempting for a child to put one in his mouth. And I know my youngest son, if he saw just that unit, because they pop out so easy, just lying on the ground, I know he'd stick it in his mouth.
Yeah, right. It looks like a lifesaver, a mint or something. And I don't know. Someone did a video, or maybe just took photos of testing one of these for lead using a swab, and they said they found lead in the bearings. Well, I haven't found that yet, and we can do some swab testing maybe on Sunday to see if any of these have lead underneath in the bearings. But right now we're not taking them apart. We're just trying to get.
So I contacted her, that person who did it with the swabs,
Oh.
and she said it wasn't on the bearings on the outer rim. It was inside underneath the plastic thumb part where she found lead.
Yeah.
So we should take that into consideration when we test them too.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Okay, so right now, these three are lead-free of daisies. This one has lead at a high level. This one is within regulatory standards for child's toys. And so these are metal, so there's a chance that there could be detectable lead in them. Oh my God, we're never going to do this again with the kids. Okay.
Or send them to go play.
Can you guys out there watching hear my kids banging against the door like crazy people? Anybody? Now they're quiet. Oh, no. Okay. And So there's pretty much 3 components on each of these things to test. There's the bearing, the center thing, whatever that's made of, and a lot of them have a different center, and then the main part of the wings of, we're calling them, of the spinners.
Right.
So this one right here is also testing negative for lead. Oh my goodness,
Good.
Daisy, you're going to be so excited. And whoever in your group owns the lighted one is not going to be very excited.
Yeah. Sorry, light up spinner lady.
All right, so this is the last one we're going to test right now, and then we're going to see what we can do to tie up the children.
Oh my goodness. Maybe go get them settled with a movie or something.
Yeah. So again, this is testing positive for lead at a low level.
But above the regulated limit.
Yeah, it's 168 plus or minus 38 right now, and it changes with each one. And it might be that there's lead inside the center bearing piece, and it might not. Hard to say. And without taking it apart. Right. And so right now we're, 146 plus or minus 22 on the center part, which is the heaviest, maybe the heaviest part. It's hard to say. And then I'm going to do a second test on the side. I like this kind of one that it doesn't have the bearings that pop out. Like, so if we could have ones like these that are made of stainless steel or titanium without the lead in the center, that would be great. There's a market there, people.
Like a stainless steel button.
Yeah, and same with this one. This didn't have lead on the outside. It only had the lead in the middle. And this only had the lead in the middle. That only had the lead in the middle. And that was surprising because I thought these might be leaded crystals. And this one,
that one is so heavy that when I picked that one up, I thought that maybe it's like a hunk of lead.
It's a hunk of copper. So that's why. So this one's low lead within acceptable levels for a toy. So that's the, you want to do a recap here?
Yeah.
A recap shot. Low lead, no lead, high lead, and high lead. So
very, very high lead. I mean,
1,
all
2,
these right
3,
here
4,
are very
5,
high
6,
lead.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? We've got 13 spinners, and of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tested super high lead. So more than half.
So far, the fidget spinners are not doing so good as far as how much lead is in them.
Yes, they're fine. We all have kids. Kids make noise. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey. My kids make more noise than most children. Hi, Leonard. Where are the kids? I see my husband's watching this video and not watching the kids. That's why they're banging on the door. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what were we going to say?
So we were going to say, so far the percentage of fidget spinners that are testing positive for lead is half or more of the fidget spinners that we've tested have tested positive for lead, the ones that we've tested today. So this is definitely a pervasive issue. It's gone across brands, across manufacturers, and we're going to be testing more. We have probably at least 20, oh my God.
20 or 30 more.
It's like a thunderstorm.
It's like a thunderstorm of children.
Yeah, so we have at least 20 or 30 more fidget spinners that we're going to be testing this weekend. We're going to be publishing the results on both tamararubin.com and on creativegreenliving.com, and we'll have it in a written form as well. But please send this video to people. If you have fidget spinners, if your friends' kids have fidget spinners, if you know their moms whose kids have fidget spinners, please share our video so that they can get informed about what is in their kids' toys.
And we're sorry it's so long, but there's a lot of good information in it. And then if you want to support this initiative, you can go to my GoFundMe, which is gofundme.com/leadsafemama. And you can always check out our websites again, tamararubin.com and creativegreenliving.com. And there'll be more of these videos shortly. If you have questions, my husband just messaged, he's watching this. He said, I'm walking back from the grocery store, dear. They promised they wouldn't make a sound. About the kids.
That did not happen.
Yeah, that's because they're teenage brothers watching them. Yeah. So they're banging on the door with all their might.
They're okay. Just loud.
And if you have any questions, post them here. We'll check out the questions later and we will answer them personally.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. That was fun.